Welcome to SBCU. Today we're going to talk about the fastest full suspension 2.9er, the Epic. The Epic's been a part of the Specialized family for a long time, but has always been true to being the fastest, most efficient full suspension bike out there. That hasn't changed over time, and we're going to take you through what makes this Epic tick. Okay, so let's take a look at the Epic frame platform. There's a lot going on here, but we'll start with the basics and then work our way into more of the involved stuff. First off, the Epic has a lot of important parts, like a tapered head tube, nice and low slung top tube, press fit bottom bracket, and a 142 millimeter rear end. These are relatively standard features on a lot of Specialized bikes, but still great features to have on really any bike, and it's something that sets us apart from many others. When you get into the details of the frame, on the new Epic here, first thing you'll notice is that we have internal cable routing inside the front and rear triangle. And what's cool about this is you'll see that there's hood scoops that work into the frame, and you can run 1, 2, 3, or 4 lines inside the frame. And once you actually get in there, there's this nice foam tube that we call the churro that keeps the things from rattling around on the inside. Working your way back in the frame, we've got this mega rad SWAT kit along with 2 water bottle cages. We'll get into that a little bit later. And then you work your way into the FSR. The FSR stands for Future Shock Rear, and a huge part of what makes this bike so fast and efficient. Once you get from the FSR, you work your way back up to the all-new concentric pivot. This is where your seat stay meets your linkage and your shock extension. We went to this concentric pivot because we can have a lighter seat stay and a smoother actuation on the shock. So it ends up being not only a lighter overall package, but it's going to smooth out the bumps even more, which just makes for a more fun and playful ride. Now remember that this bike is an XC race bike, and we're looking for all-out speed. We want to be able to hammer on the pedals, go as fast as possible, but also be nimble, dodging in and out of trees, making sure you're not hitting rocks or people or whatever's going to be in your way on the trail. So we have a very tight head tube angle. This is a 70.5 degree head tube angle. It's relatively steep, going to give you some real lively handling. True to all Specialized style, we have a nice roomy top tube, a low bottom bracket, and then a short rear end. This is a 448 millimeter rear end. That's very short by most mountain bike standards, and again, that's going to help the bike snap around the corners and be very, very lively while you're riding it. Also notice that even though that we have a shock that's tucked up higher to make room for 2 water bottles, the standover height is still very low. So when you're riding this bike, it's not going to feel like it's coming up at you. Still plenty of room to come off the bike safely, and that's a big part for the ride of this bike, is fast, nimble, but also safe feeling in case you do have a crash or an off the bike. One of the defining features about the Epic is the brain suspension. Now, the brain is all about giving the rider as much efficiency when and where they need it. We want the bike to remain firm and ready to go forward when you're on smooth terrain, and active when you're hitting the bumps. It's completely unique. There is no other suspension and shock system that works together that can tell the difference between a rider influence, so you bouncing around on your seat, and the bumps coming up from the bottom. That's what the brain is all about. And this Epic has a brain rear shock as well as a brain fork. And you can make adjustments on both of these, rebound and brain fade. So rebound's your red knob, brain fade's your blue. And that's on the front and the rear. And let's not forget that the rear shock also has the Specialized proprietary auto sag. So you can set up your suspension no matter your weight or riding style with just a press of a button. Very easy and correct way to set up your suspension. Another feature I really like about the Epic is the Revolve wheels and Specialized tire combination. The Revolve wheels, hand built. That means that they're hand laced, tensioned, and trued. It actually takes 96 hands to build a set of Revolve wheels. And a lot of time and attention goes into making sure the quality is really high. And we've also really worked a lot on the rims. These control carbon rims have no hooks on them. So the little old school style bead hooks that people thought used to hold on the tires, irrelevant. We don't need those anymore. We've learned a lot from automotive and MotoGP, and we've gotten rid of those. It's a great piece of technology we call the zero bead hook technology. So that's built into our carbon rims, both on this control carbon 2.9 and our new SL, and then matched up appropriately with the type of tire that's going to give you the best ride. So these are the Fast Track tires, a little bit more grip, but it's still going to roll very, very fast. And on some of the other Epics, like the S-Works and the more super racy ones, we run the Renegade tire. It's a lower profile, faster rolling tire. It gives a little bit less grip, but definitely two different tires that's going to keep you rolling fast and give you the appropriate amount of grip for what you're going to need. Some of the other really cool things, popping right out at you, you have 2 water bottle cages inside a full suspension bike. That's pretty darn rare these days, and it's amazing to be able to carry even more water. You can put 2 full-size water bottles in any size Epic that we have. You're probably looking at this box wondering what the heck's going on here. This is the SWAT box. SWAT stands for storage, water, air, and tools. And we wanted to make sure that these things that people want to ride with on their bikes was right there on their bike, right where they need it. So you can open up this box. Inside you'll see it has a turbo tube. It has to be a turbo tube. A regular size tube will not fit, but this one will fit in nice. You have a 25 gram CO2 with a custom CO2 head, as well as a tire lever. So all that fits right inside the box. The box will come on the Expert Carbon, the Marathon Carbon, and the S-Works, but what's super cool is that you can actually put this on any of the bikes, whether it comes with it or not. So a nice upgrade if your bike doesn't happen to come with it, and a wonderful feature when you're out on the trail. You don't have to put it on your back or carry it in your backpack. It's just right here on your bike where you need it. So I said that there was a tool part of the storage, water, air, and tool. So we have a really cool cradle built into the frame that holds this tool, and this has all the Allen wrenches, Torx wrenches, and screwdrivers that you'll need to get out of a tight situation. And this will actually drive the last piece of the puzzle, which is the top cap chain tool. So inside your steer tube, underneath the top cap, is a chain breaker to get you out of a bind, and there's also a spare link for your 10 or 11 speed chain in there. So storage, water, air, and tools, that'll get you out of most binds. These tools aren't for every single day use, but they'll definitely take care of you whenever you have a problem. Other cool features about the frame is that notice that this system does have a front derailleur mount on here. This is a 2-speed, 10 speeds in the rear, 2 in the front. If you wanted to run a 1x system, 1x10, 1x11, 9-speed, if that's what you like to do, that's totally fine. You can go ahead and take the front derailleur off. Conversely, on the World Cup bike, that bike does not have a front derailleur mount. So if you wanted to run a double, you bought the wrong bike. So make sure that if you want to run doubles, that you buy the standard Epic. My last favorite feature here is that there's beautiful internal cable routing on here, but let's say you get into a bind or you don't want to run your brake cables on the inside. There's nice little tabs here on the bottom side of the down tube, so you can go ahead and just clip your brake line there. Small, but nice feature. Overall, the Epic, it's about going as fast as possible, having a great time out there.